Hey, Dan Meyer here, and I'm back once again to talk about 5 more tips on how you can be better in business, how you can be even more successful. How can you take what you're doing, and I'm sure it's doing well, and do it even a little bit better based on some lessons that I've learned in my experience. So, about 25 years ago, I started working for Wells Fargo Bank. I was a customer service supervisor in the phone bank or call center. And during that first year of experience, I learned I had a skill set that was in high demand. I knew how to use Microsoft Excel. I was good with numbers. I could play around with data and extract key insights from massive amounts of data. And that 1 year experience as a supervisor turned into a 15-year experience doing data analysis, doing analytics. And during that time, I continued to get it promoted and find new opportunities and take on new responsibilities, to do a lot of traveling, to be able to really find ways to help the bank be more successful, to make more money using the data that we had available to us. And during that experience, I learned a lot of other things as well. My 15 years at Wells Fargo was paramount to my success as an entrepreneur. When I left Wells Fargo about 12 years ago and set up my first business, these skill sets, these habits that I learned at Wells Fargo paid their dividends in full for my entrepreneurial career. So I want to share with you 5 things that I learned at Wells Fargo that you can apply in your business. They are universal, and they don't have to be just because I worked for a bank. They are just successes that you find in a lot of successful companies, especially big corporations. They have these ingredients that need to be cooked to be successful. Number 1 is get and stay organized. You have to have a schedule. You have to have a to-do list. You have to constantly be making deliverables. You have a lot of timelines. You have a lot of set expectations. And to be successful, you have to stay on top of things, right? When people want something, you give it to them. You try to be preemptive when possible. You always be on time for meetings. I don't know how you want to say it. There's a lot of people that think that being busy and always running like around crazy, like I'm so busy, is a good thing, but it's not. The most successful people are the ones that kind of sit back and watch everyone else go crazy, because the person that's sitting back and watching, that's you and me, we've already done all the work we're supposed to do for today. And we're able to kind of like work on some stuff for tomorrow and stay ahead of the game. That's a key to success. Get and stay organized. When you apply that to your business, it's all about building structure. Having a to-do list, tracking it is key. However you want to do it, you want to do it in a project management tool, you want to do it in Excel, whatever it is, have a calendar. Book your time wisely. Don't let people book your time for you. Give them options and stick to it. Don't let people interrupt you with calls out of the blue. Don't let people like take over your social media by constantly bombarding you. Stay focused and organized. Number 2, build systems to scale. When I worked for Wells Fargo, we were always thinking about how to grow. What's our next acquisition going to be? What's our next ability to tap a new market? How are we going to offer a new product to a new group of people? This mindset always made me think about the future. And I'm just a futurist in general, but that's something that I really learned at Wells Fargo, is how to think about building systems to scale. So when you do something new, or you're launching something, or thinking about how you want to grow things, think about the systems it will take, because the key to scaling is delegation. The ability to effectively grow any business, whether it be a small business or a huge multinational, is having systems in place that people can be plugged into and do. If you don't have that, it's going to be hard to really scale, because people can't read your mind and you can't do everything, and you're not always going to be available. So you need to set up systems. In my current business, I have a team of virtual assistants that work around the clock, 24/7, 7 days a week. I don't do that. There's some days I hardly work at all. There's some days I work a lot. I work 10, 12 hours some days, but most days I don't, because my team does a lot of the work for me. All the social media, a lot of the administrative stuff, the finance, the operations stuff. I've delegated a big chunk of all of that to my team. It helps me build even bigger because I put systems in place. So scale with systems, and be mindful that the systems you build have to be scalable. Number 3, nurture key connections. The way I was most successful at Wells Fargo was when somebody wanted some kind of question answered. They needed data to say XYZ caused ABC, or they wanted some kind of projective data on what would happen if we did this. My job was to go out and find the data, and I always did. because I knew where to look, because I talked to people all the time. I got to know who were the data gatekeepers. I got to know who knew what kind of data lived where. And I made friends with all of them. I was very much a likable, trustworthy, honest, fun to work with kind of person. And that paid dividends because whenever I needed something, people would give it to me. Knowing where to get things is all about nurturing key connections. And it goes both ways. You become a resource as well. People come to you. People trust you and value your connection because you can do things for them. This is how you nurture key connections. You don't just, find someone who's important and you just try to, kiss ass and do things that won't get you so far. And you don't just use people for something and then be done. You keep greeting them on their birthday. You keep saying hello. You remember their kids' names. You get to know what's going on in their life so that you can always add value to the conversation. You nurture key connections. Online, you do this by looking at someone's profile and personalizing a message before you send out some kind of like, hey, do you want to buy something from me? You want to tell them why you think that they may actually benefit from what you're selling. You want to slow down and think about how to nurture each connection individually. When you build a good audience, when you know how to get people that will influence for you, that like and share what you do, it's all about nurturing these key connections. And you really want to think about how you do that in a general business sense. Maybe you have Facebook groups, maybe you do things through a YouTube channel or TikTok, whatever you're doing on Instagram or LinkedIn. Think about how you're nurturing the people you connect with. A small group of influential, dedicated, loyal fans is much better than a huge group of people who just don't give a damn about what you do. So nurture key connections. Number 4, this is a key, something that I learned really early in my career that I applied at Wells Fargo, and it made me very successful. And I continue to apply it with all my clients today. Under promise and over deliver. When people say I need something by Friday and I need it right away, you tell them, well, I'll do what I can, but it may take me till Monday because it's a lot of data to crunch, or it's a lot of things to research to do, or it's a lot of people to call. People say are always in a hurry and they always want something right now. Never agree to their stressed, hyper-accelerated deadline. Always build in a cushion for yourself. You never know when a system's going to break, where you're going to have technology problems, where you're going to have things in life get in the way. Always build in extra time for whatever you can. Occasionally, sometimes people are going to say, I need this now, and there's no negotiating. You have to do it. Well, then you drop everything and do it. But if you're trying to put all your work and all your things you're doing into some kind of queue, like I've got 10 clients to onboard, and I got more clients that want to come on board, and they're all calling me and saying, hey, I need this, I need this. You give them, say, well, I can get to that on Monday. I can get to that in 3 days. I build myself time. And then once you do that, when you under-promise, then you can over-deliver. Then when you can get things done early, you do it. You give it early. When you can add more to what the basic requirement is, spice it up, give a little more value, do things a little above and beyond, then you do it. But you don't set out to do those things. You do them when you have the time to do it because you've over-delivered. This is your goal, and you do it by under-promising. It's kind of a funny story if you're a fan of Star Trek. There was once an episode where the chief engineer of the original show, Scotty, was talking to the chief engineer of the Next Generation, LaForge, about how when the captain wants something, you always tell him it will take it longer than it will. You always set up the captain for worst case scenario, and then you deliver the best case scenario, and you become known as a miracle worker. That's always stuck with me as a key lesson. When people need things from you, you want to do it, but you want to do it in a way that makes them feel like, wow, it was special. This was really cool. You went way above and beyond. Well, you do that by under-promising in the beginning, but then over-delivering in the end. Number 5, last thing I'll talk about is numbers. And of course, me, I'm a data guy. I'm about nerds. Know your numbers. Wells Fargo taught me to know my numbers. Not because I just always have loved numbers since I was a kid and I used to collect baseball cards and always memorize the stats on the back of the card, but I've always been a numbers guy. And I get it. I can look at a bunch of numbers and I can see insights. I can quickly and easily pull data and make visuals and tell stories and do things with data that most people can't. That's really been my gift. My superpower is really looking at data and making it more explainable and giving people kind of like the basic street level view of what all this data says, so people can make quick decisions. That was the key to my success at Wells Fargo. It's been the key to my success after Wells Fargo. I built an entire business around teaching people what I learned about being an analyst and how to use data. But even outside of that, I talk to my clients all the time about looking at their data, Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and every social media platform provides free insights to allow you to look at your data and see who you are talking to, who's engaging with your stuff, who's following, liking, sharing, watching your content on social media. You want to be able to look at that for your website. You want to be able to look at that for anything that you're doing that has a data element to it. Know your numbers. For my training business in the Philippines, my ideal company that I want to work with is a multinational call center that has a lot of people that are employed as analysts. So when I look at the metrics for my Facebook page and my LinkedIn page dedicated to that business, I need to see a lot of people from those jobs, operations managers, HR managers, training managers, engage with my content. If that's happening, then it's working. So I look at my metrics, look at my insights to make sure that's the case. So these are the things that I learned at Wells Fargo, right? Get and stay organized. Build systems that scale. Nurture key connections. Underpromise and overdeliver, and know your numbers. If you do these things, you're going to be much more successful, no matter what business you're in. But if you're like me and you worked for corporate America for a while for a successful company that had a lot of history of doing the right thing and being successful, you probably have picked up many of these habits as well. Because to be successful in a big multinational company for more than a few years, you have to apply these kind of lessons. So I hope that helped. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. If you have not already done so, please subscribe to the channel. I want to thank you for your time, and I will be back again soon with 5 more tips on what you can do in your business based on what I've done in my business. So thanks a lot for your time. Now get out there and have an amazing day.